Breaking news we're tracking at the moment. India is likely to send the black box of the crashed Air India Boeing 787 aircraft to the United States for further analysis. The recorder sustained heavy external damage from post-crash fire, making it impossible to extract data in India, is what some reports highlight. Now, the black box is likely to be sent to the National Safety Transport Board's laboratory in Washington for analysis. For further clarity, let's go across to my colleague Vasudha Venugopal, who's been tracking all the finer developments. Vasudha, we're given to understand that the government will take the final call as far as this matter is concerned of sending the black box to America?
Absolutely. The ministry is expected to take a final call on this. What we understand right now from our sources is the black box of the crashed Air India Boeing 787 aircraft has been found to have sustained a lot of damage, and this is because of the external crash that occurred, and which is why there is an expectation that it could also be sent to labs in Washington. Before, of course, this is a decision that the government will have to make. Remember that we already have an AAIB, which is the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau, which is looking into this accident, and it is also equipped with a lot of facilities to understand what really happened. And just for the benefit of our viewers, the black box is a critical piece of evidence to piece together what really happened and also reconstruct what went wrong. And it also not just has the flight data recorder, which is called the FDR, which captures very important parameters of the flight. It also has a cockpit voice recorder, which also, of course, will tell us a little bit about pilot conversations and what really happened in the cockpit, and give us digital cues to understand what went wrong. This is a crucial piece of evidence. And now what we understand, because of the crash, the impact of the crash, the black box has sustained several damage, and to fix all of that, it could be headed to the United States of America for better forensics. But what we understand is that a final call will be taken by ministry very soon.
As always, Vasudha, thank you so much for joining us with the latest information coming in. As Vasudha Venugopal is reporting, the government is expected to take the final call on the matter, but the recorder has received severe external damages that has made it difficult for the local investigators to extract data. Whether or not it will head to America for further analysis, that's something the government is likely to take a final call on. Right, I'm told Ankit Tyagi is also with us, tracking the latest as far as the black box recovery and it being sent to the US for further analysis is concerned. Ankit, at this point, we're given to understand that the probe is still on to clarify what caused the crash, but sources indicating that the black box may be sent abroad. Vasudha has also shared these details.
That will be an important step if the government does decide to send the black box abroad. But since everybody is talking about initial assessment, and it's very critical because already Air India is cutting down on its wide body aircraft by 15%. So the expectation is that there should be some clarity on what had happened, at least an initial assessment, which should come quickly. But the point that remains at this moment is that if the black box is sent abroad, it also delays the process. Now remember, the black box was found after 28 hours of this crash. It was found on the very rooftop of that mess where the aircraft had lodged itself, and the tail of the aircraft, the black box usually is in fact near the tail of the aircraft, and this is where the black box was found. Now, as soon as the impact took place, there was extensive damage. We also saw the visuals of that massive inferno that ensued right after the accident took place. And though the black box is in a contained shell, in a titanium or a stainless steel shell, there has been, in fact, what we have been told, it has considerable damage. Now, the damage is of what nature? Whether it is just to the outer body or in fact the important components inside the black box, all that has been assessed. Now what we know is that the government has to take the final call whether they want to send it abroad for, remember there are already teams from Boeing which came to the crash site in Ahmedabad, and they have been conducting the inquiry, helping the AAIB to try and come to a conclusion of what went wrong. There are, of course, some critical concerns also. If this black box is sent abroad, then it will mean that the AIB in India will have to upgrade their systems and their facilities so that any further damage or situation in future, there are facilities available in India which can in fact decode this. But at this time, it is only it is not something which has already been decided. It is only a question of the government whether they want to send it abroad or there is any other work that the government wants to get done, possibly getting an expert team from abroad to come to India and decode the black box, because that becomes a very important part of this entire investigation of what went wrong in AI 171, about 52 seconds from the time it was on the tarmac and 31 seconds when it was trying to in fact initiate the entire takeoff sequence, which it failed, and then of course that horrific accident took place. Now, Parmeshwar, very quickly, the black box, along with the physical evidence, becomes the most important crucial factor. Not only will it tell what was the conversation between the pilot, the co-pilot, and the ATC, it also records all the noises or the warning signs that come into the cockpit. So that becomes very, very important, whether there was any system or engine failure noise. All those things will help the investigators to put it together and understand what happened to this ill-fated flight. Now, there are two options as far as the government is concerned. A, to send it abroad for experts to, in fact, and remember, the government cannot send it to the Boeing facility because Boeing is the manufacturer. So the investigation will have to be done by independent investigators, not those who are aligned with Boeing. So that there is zero doubt about the outcome of this investigation. So whether it is sent to an independent investigator in United States, it's being speculated, or a team from there is called by the government of India, invited in India to try and read what has happened as far as the black box is concerned. That remains a critical question. But at this moment, two things can be confirmed: that the black box was found in a damaged condition, and number two, now of course there is expectation of how to retrieve the data. Whether it happens in India or it is sent abroad is a larger decision that the government and the investigators will have to take.